Today I effed up by being a life art model for my best friend and losing a best friend. So, I'm sure from the title you are all thinking this is just another horny story or whatever. If you think this is that, I don't blame you, but it definitely wasn't a sexy experience in my eyes. This didn't happen today but rather last week, but some context first. I go to a university with around 80% women. I'm a man, one of the few non-boob havers. I'm turning 20 soon and am around the same age as the other students in my year. The university has a campus where all the students live on site and go to lessons in the same building. All the students on campus do the same history course. While everyone does history, there's a thriving art community in the form of clubs, or groups. It's my first year in university when this all went down. There's this super cool girl who lives 2 doors down from me who I've made friends with. She's also my project partner for one of my semester-long research courses, and she helps organize the art club in her spare time. Let's call her Beth for now. Apparently, the art club has occasional life model drawing session where they get one of the members of the art club, usually a woman, to model for the group so they can practice their drawing. I've never been super into art, so this was a surprise to hear. When Beth told me about this, I assumed that having a model could become awkward, but I supposed as long as they were all women and it's for art, it's not that bad. So, the day of the fuck-up. I'm working on my part of the project with Beth in the library when she gets a text. Apparently, the student who was gonna model got some sort of a virus and was too sick to join. Beth gets really upset. These sessions happen once a month and she doesn't want to miss it. She asks me if I want to model. After all, the girl who was gonna model was also a student, so how bad can it be? When Beth asked me this, it was as if she expected me to say no. I should have. Unfortunately, I panicked under my need to please and the unexpected request, and I said yes. After all, why shouldn't I do something different? There's 3 things I fucked up here on out. Firstly, for some reason, I assumed the students drawing me would be random students I had never met before. I didn't consider Beth would be among them. Secondly, as I came out of the dressing room, I realized that I knew many of these students. Since we all live on campus, these were girls, and they were all girls, believe it or not, which isn't super unusual for the art club. I knew and walked with to class every day. My main fuck-up was this. As I removed my dressing gown, trembling with fear like a wet puppy, I got incredibly self-conscious. I was holding a standing pose with my hands on my hips, and I'm aware I don't exactly have washboard ABS. I don't know why, but being so in my head about this all made my body react in a weird way, and things began to stir below deck. I never got fully hard, thank God. Unfortunately, for the rest of the hour session, I kept alternating between soft and half-mast due to being caught up in my head. This was incredibly awkward as I had to keep perfectly still, the only thing moving being my meat sausage. Long story short, I've had a few more classes with Beth, but she's refused to meet my eye even once. Her, and a few of the other drawers, treat me nicely enough, but there's this heavy awkward tension every time we interact. It's hard to just find new friends since Beth lives so close to me, so I see her daily. I don't know what to do now, and I'm worried I've lost a friend.
Today I effed up by leaving my vibrator in the shower. So for the necessary background, I'm on a hormone treatment which has made my sex drive intense, to the point I get so excited I can't sleep if I don't get off. I still live with my parents cause the economy, so me and my partner don't have many opportunities to do the deed. As a result, he bought me a vibrator for our anniversary to help bust a nut in his absence. It's kinda noisy, about the same level of BRRR as an electric trimmer, so I mostly use it in the middle of the night, and often while in the shower so the water ambience masks the sound. Last night I was tired after, and left it on the bathtub rim while I got dressed so I could clean it later. Then the ADHD kicked on, I went to get a snack, and, forgot. Now, it would have gone unnoticed until I got up the next morning. It's about 4 inches, which is a perfectly reasonable size, and matte black, so I doubt it would stand out to anyone who wasn't looking for it. Except for one thing, or rather, 3, I have cats. More specifically, I have 3 young, Curious little shits who like to play in the bathtub after people shower. Somehow, the bastards managed to turn the item of interest on and voila, they had a fun, noisy, self-moving new toy. I wish I could have seen this going on, not only 'cause they're fun to watch, but so I could have stopped this next part from happening. Directly next to the bathroom is my parents' room. By 7 a.m. my dad would have been gone for work, but naturally, it's my mom's late day. And naturally, she's a light sleeper. You can see where this is headed. At 7:30 this morning I was awoken to my mother walking into my room sternly saying my name. Considering I have a teenage sister, I don't know how to feel about the fact she immediately knew it was mine, but whatever, and then sighed, the cats were playing with your thing. Without further explanation she handed me a 4-inch package, wrapped in a rag, still vibrating. After apologizing and putting the thing away in my nightstand, I fell back asleep. By the time I got up around noon, I was convinced it was a weird dream. But no such luck. I checked my nightstand and it was there, wrapped in a rag.
Today I effed up by smoking meth for the first time last weekend. I was talking to someone on Grindr after work Friday and they wanted to try something different. I was initially hesitant because this person seemed like they were into some high-risk stuff and didn't disclose their status without me inquiring about it. Initially, I said no and told them about the red flags. But I was thinking with my dick and not my head. Told myself I'm down to try new things, so I went. On my way home from work I turned the car around and drove to the location they sent me. I scoped out the perimeter and made my way into a parking spot. After keeping my wallet in the glove box, I got out of the car and walked up the stairs to the room. The door was unlocked, as agreed, and I walked into a dark room smelling of cheap cigarette smoke and the TV playing Family Guy. He was naked laying on the bed with a cigarette in his hand. Slipping off my shoes and pants, I hopped onto the bed next to him. He insisted I take my shirt off too, to which I said no as I didn't want to stay very long. He started blowing me for a minute before stopping. He picked up his meth pipe, heated the bowl end, and blew a few mouthfuls of clouds. He asked if I wanted any and I said no. He continued back to blowing me again. I never planned to smoke meth. He took another break to smoke more and when he offered this time, I said sure, I'll give it a try but only a little. I put my mouth on the stem end while he lit it, and then I inhaled like I would be smoking weed. My first impression, it tasted vile. I didn't feel anything either. He said I didn't do it right and lit it again, instructing me on how to drag it slowly and keep it in my mouth rather than my lungs, blowing it back out at the same pace. I felt something now. I was starting to feel like I was in a daze and my body was beginning to feel relaxed. My heart started to race and I began sweating. I stood up to go spit in the bathroom when I felt lightheaded all of a sudden. I didn't feel pleasure, rather a relaxation with some side effects. Immediately after my trip to the bathroom my dick went limp, shriveled up to a size smaller than it is flaccid. Was this because of the meth too? I came back to the bed and he went back to sucking me off. I just couldn't get hard. I got my phone out and started watching porn which he was sucking me off. By this point I knew I was limp. I think he knew it as well. He was okay with me watching porn, he was trying to invite someone else to fuck him while I watched, to which I said sure. He offered me more hits and I didn't refuse. I ended up hanging out there for 9 hours, most of which was spent watching porn. Before the sun came up, I washed myself off in the bathroom and got dressed. I felt a little different now. I was dehydrated, my heart was still beating faster than normal, my breaths were heavy. I was alert though, with a light dizziness. I left to my car and hopped on the road with my windows open to feel the crisp air. It felt like the scene from Pulp Fiction where John Travolta is driving high on heroin to go pick up Uma Thurman for dinner. I couldn't feel the speed of the car. I was only going 5 miles per hour above the speed limit. I got home in the early morning, sprayed my car with Ozium, and retreated to my bed. I was completely awake. Although I wanted to rest, my mind was still active. For the next 8 hours, I was masturbating my micropenis to TikTok. Something I didn't have to do, but I didn't want to leave the bed, I'm uncut so it hurt to pull the foreskin back. By the end of it, my body was completely sore from being idle for so long. When I left the bed to go to the bathroom was when I was really starting to feel disgusting. I had a scent of dried sweat with meth odor. I saw my face in the mirror, it was very oily. With clean hands, I touched my face and it left a black tar-like residue on my fingertips and on my nail. There was also this weird dehydration-type loopy headache. I took a hot shower, leaving nothing to chance, scrubbing my face with a facial scrub, washing my hair with 2 rounds of shampoo and beard wash routine, and clipped my finger and toenails. However, the disgusting smell was lingering all over me. Bottled water didn't taste right on my tongue. I sprayed some cologne on myself and got to work on sanitizing everything I touched down to the doorknobs. I threw my sheets and clothes in the wash. I've never felt this grossed out before. That awful smell was still coming out of the pores of my palms. I'm glad I have ADHD because I didn't feel the intense pleasurable sensation that is in the literature. It felt closer to an amped up feeling when I used to be on meds, which I didn't enjoy. I also wasn't really hungry either. I did take a short nap to rest my brain.
Today I effed up being willing to do anything to make my GF orgasm. Last night, my GF asked me to stop going down on her because she was not gonna climax and it was getting late. I said I was willing to keep going, but she said we both knew she never got off with anyone and nothing was gonna change that. I asked if she wanted to use one of her toys. She said she was not in the mood for toys. I said there must be something I could do to get the job done. She said it is what it is and encouraged me to focus on the fact that she enjoyed getting me off. At that moment she got dressed and prepared for bed. I was still naked and still struggling to accept the idea that my GF was doomed to always depend on toys to get off. I have nothing against anyone using accessories in the bedroom, but I could tell that deep down my GF would really like it if she could climax through human contact. My GF eventually got tired of hearing me go on and on about trying new things, and figuring out ways to get her off that she finally interrupted me and said there was something we could do that might work. She said I was not gonna like it though. I said I was willing to do anything if it meant getting her across the finish line. My GF said okay and opened her closet. She pulled out a hoodie and said her first BF had that on when he took her virginity. I asked why did she still have it. She shrugged and said she didn't know. I asked what did she want us to do with her ex's hoodie. She said I should put it on and let her get on top of me. As soon as I put it on, my GF became really dominant. She pushed me down and got on top. The animal inside of her came out. An animal I didn't even know existed. My GF didn't get off, but she milked every minute I had that hoodie on. My GF put the hoodie back in the closet when we were done and said she was willing to let me wear it again if I was still feeling passionate about trying anything to get her off. Not gonna lie, it was not the biggest confidence boost to realize that my GF was not only attached to her ex in some way, but also needed his personal belongings to bring out her wild side and potentially get her to climax, which I've been unable to do since the beginning of our relationship. All I wanted to do was make my GF feel good in bed and now it seems like I'm competing with her ex to do that. I hate hoodies now.
Today I effed up by joking about my husband getting a sugar baby. I guess this is more of a last few weeks I've effed up, but I thought it fit here. Been having intimacy issues due to some trauma that happened a few months ago. Husband has been great and supportive throughout me seeing a therapist. But still, lack of intimacy is hard. I saw a post on Reddit of a guy saying that he was going to get a sugar baby and didn't lie to his wife. He told her once her libido came back, he'd end it. I showed it to my husband and made a joke that maybe that was where we were heading and this is what I'm worried about. It is not uncommon for us to joke in this way. We talked things out after he made sure I was just kidding and I thought that was the end of it. Last couple of weeks he's been his usual self, but brings home gifts more often, favorite foods, a plant and such. And then I really fucked up this past week. I was sick with pneumonia and went to see the doctor. Doctor offered to run an STI test and I was like, why not? Results come back, husband is on the phone with me hearing about how I'm doing and doctor gives me the all clear on STIs, great. Exactly what I expected. Next thing I know, my best friend reaches out to me, friends with husband as well, because he contacted her to figure out a good surprise, on top of everything else. She knows I dislike surprises. Today, I finally ask WTF is going on and he freaks out. Turns out, he's been terrified about the damn sugar baby thing. He's been leaving his phone around unlocked, his password is our anniversary, same as mine, or being very explicit about where he is at all times. He's been getting me anything he thinks I might like. He skipped playing basketball with some friends because he didn't want me uncomfortable, was still sick and didn't want to go. I laughed because I have access to all his emails and text messages. It's all on a shared computer. He has the same for me. I handle money in our relationship and he's always had his location shared with me. Oh, and I trust him. He thought I was hinting that I was concerned this was something actually happening. Long story short, I'll be more careful with my jokes now.